I'm Richard Hooper, and I'm pleased to be joined by Fran Auricchio, President and CEO of Mission Microwave. Fran, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Now, you've done some pretty amazing things at Mission Microwave in a remarkably short time. But what is the main value that has attracted customers to the company's products?
We do things a little differently. We pride ourselves in supporting the whole package. So not just the performance of the product, but the reliability of the product and the support of the product. The way we build our products is that we design everything from the ground up. We don't use other people's modules to build our products. We take a holistic approach that says, if this is what the product needs to do, these are the requirements, and this is what we have to build. So by doing that, we're able to optimize the size, weight, and power of the products. And this is what the customers were looking for. They were, instead of buying something that was as big as a bread box, they wanted something that was smaller and lighter and higher performance than what they were currently using. And this was the initial attraction to what Mission could offer. We also sort of introduced the latest generation of gallium nitride devices. So as the industry sort of shifted from gallium arsenide to gallium nitride, we were one of the people that were on the front end of that, offering the higher performance with its pluses and minuses, but allowing those advantages to take place in our products. So that, coupled with the way we do things, I think is what customers were ultimately attracted to.
How does Mission see the future of the industry, and what is your vision as it moves forward?
Currently, we see a big push in Ka band. So in everything from the LEO, MEO, and GEO constellations to wider bandwidths, higher power, and everything seems to be, the previous generations of C-band and Ku band are still there for some applications, but the emerging applications for higher throughput are definitely going to Ka band. And we see a very big push in that, especially for supporting, like I said, the LEO, MEO, GEO constellations. And that's where the train is rolling right now. And we're trying to keep abreast of that and keep out in front of that. We've got some interesting things that we're doing to allow us to play in that marketplace, and we'll see what the future holds.
Now, there's strong competition in the buck marketplace. What makes you different?
As I said, we take a different approach to the way we build units. We don't put boxes inside of boxes, meaning we don't buy components from someone and try to figure out how to use them. So we design everything that is inside of our box, from and including the devices that go into the units, but the power supplies, the power amplifier, the up converters, all of the pieces are designed by us. So we have intimate knowledge of how they should work, and actually how we can optimize or exploit those parameters in getting the customer the best possible product. We also take a different approach in that we build an engine, so to speak, for our products. And we can use that engine in a variety of different configurations to support everything from low power to high power. And in doing that, you only need to get good at building one type of module, and then you reuse it everywhere you can. So as power levels start to go up, you just combine more of those modules. So it's not like you have one approach for a low power unit and a different approach for a higher power unit. It's exactly the same. And the performance that the customer sees will be exactly the same. And this is a big plus, because we have seen things where performance at low power is actually very good, and performance at high power is actually less than desirable. But in the mission amplifiers, you get a consistent set of performance from the lowest to the highest power units. Another thing and I sort of touched on this, because we develop these modules and all of these designs ourselves, we can understand what the customer is going through if they do have problems, because the people that actually develop the hardware are really the people that are answering the questions when the customer has it. It's not like we have to go to a third party and say, our customer is seeing this. What do you think this means? So we're able to support the customer in almost real time, in some cases real time, that if they have any questions regarding performance, we can give them some guidelines as to what to do or what not to do, and get the customers up and operating very quickly.
With you having said all of that, leapfrogging the competition, there's masses of competition, but how are you leapfrogging the competition with your product capabilities?
Well, if I go back to the KA band, for example, we have products everywhere from 12 watts all the way up to 400 watts at KA band. And we don't stop there. We don't rest on our laurels. We're always improving our products, making them higher power, smaller form factors, wider bandwidth. So in order to sort of help the exploitation of the LEO, MEO, GEO constellations, we're offering higher power and wider bandwidth units to take advantage of that spectrum that customers are desiring. We also are allowing customers to use our platforms to design in custom configurations. So if you take a customer like GetSat, for example, we design a custom product that essentially becomes the base of their antenna, with the power amplifier in there that gets wrapped around their terminal to create a totally custom, very small form factor, very high performance terminal. And by doing that, I think we can keep ahead of the competition and give our customers something that no one else can give them.
With a reputation for innovation, what's the coolest thing you're working on right now?
I have to be a little careful of what I say here, because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. But back to the LEO, MEO, GEO configurations, we are producing wideband KA band amplifiers that span everywhere from 27.5 gigahertz all the way up to covering the military band at 31 gigahertz. So that's that's a very big chunk of bandwidth that is supplied by a single amplifier, allowing customers to use a single amplifier in a terminal configuration that spans commercial and military, spans the LEO, MEO, and GEO requirements, and it's increasing the complexity of the terminals, but it's what the customers truly desire. It's like the holy grail of products. One product meets all of the requirements. We're also working on very high power amplifiers, single amplifiers, not combined amplifiers, but higher power in terms of the output that you can get from a single box. So like I said, we're all the way up to 400 watts at Ka band, and replacing some TWTs for that market. And when I started in this industry almost 40 years ago, I started producing solid state power amplifiers for spacecraft that were replacing TWTs. And I've continued to do that for almost 40 years. And now we're going to the big amplifiers that sit on the ground. So in my mind, that's pretty cool.
Well, Fran, as the industry evolves and certain technologies become disruptive, we've seen that with Lear. What extra challenges will Mission face moving forward?
Well, I think some of these disruptive technologies offer the promise of the promise of something different, but they do have, in most cases, they do have some limitations. If we take electronically steerable antennas, for example, flat panel antennas, that is being promoted as the holy grail for the LEO and MEO markets. But when you look at the performance of those products versus a classic parabola antenna, being able to slew it back and forth, you do give up performance. And there has to be a balance there, that you're not going to abandon necessarily one technology in favor of the other, because customers aren't going to give up all of that margin immediately for something that appears to be better, only to find out that it doesn't live up to expectations. So trying to be on the forefront of this, we have to be very cognizant of the pluses and minuses of these innovations and this technology, and try to keep our foot in the door for both, right? Still supporting the classic technology and being available to support the newer technology and helping the customers bridge that gap.
Well, finally, look, you've been in this industry a long time, Fran. You've inspired many people, but who are you inspired by?
Well, in general, I tend to look up to the people who are the game changers. One person in particular comes to mind, and that's Elon Musk, in that he's a risk taker. He has a vision of where he thinks he needs to go or wants to go, and with some calculated risk, he moves out on that endeavor, not taking no for an example. He's of the mindset of, I'll try it, and if it doesn't work, I'll try something else, and he keeps trying until he gets it right. And you can see from the successes that SpaceX and Tesla have had that that sort of mindset really does push the envelope, and the innovation that these companies have fostered in the years that they've been around sort of trumps decades of innovation previously when they took the slow, cautious approach. So I'm more in that camp than the let's put all the belt and suspenders on it and see how it works. And I've tried to put a little bit of that into Mission, where we have sort of broken the norm of what a typical power amplifier should look like, and I think we've been rather successful at that.
Well, Fran, it's been very interesting. Thank you for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.